Idam Shri Dakshinamurtaye Bijasyantarivangkuro Jagadidam Prang Nirvikalpam Punaha Maya Kalpita Deshakala Kalana Vaichitra Chitri Kritam Maya Viva Vidrumbhayatyapi Maha Yogi Vayasvechaya Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namahidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namahidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Om Brahmashaya Satvarajastamo Gunatmika Maya Asti. So, Sadeva Sumidamagra Asit Ekameva Dvitiyam. That is what has been told in Chandogya Upanishad. And it indicates this creation was Sat before it has manifested. And it looks therefore, generally, the cause is always, cause precedes the effect. And before the creation, well, this is the effect. Before that it was Sat. Then Sat must be the cause. Because cause always precedes the effect. And therefore Sat Vastu must be the cause. But then Sat cannot be the cause. That has been told very well in all the Upanishads. That Brahman is, or the Sat is not a Karyam, natu Karanam. In Mandukya Upanishad it has been very nicely said that Brahman is Turiyam. And Turiyam indicates that it is not Karyam, it is not a Karanam. In Tattvabodha also, in Advaita Prakranam, in Mandukya Karika also, it has been very nicely established. Ajativada. Ajativada means it is not born at all. It is not effect. And it is not even Karanam also. So, from Sat nothing can be created. Then, but then there was nothing before the creation. And therefore, Sat only must be the cause. Then we have to superimpose the causal status to the Sat. It is not Sat as such, but we have to superimpose this causal status to the Sat. And therefore, because you want to introduce the creation, you are experiencing day in and day out, and therefore there must be a Karan. But then before that Sat was there, Sat is not Karan, then you superimpose the Karanatvam on this Sat Vastu. So Karanatvam is not a intrinsic in Sat, but we superimpose that, and that is caused by Maya Upadhi. So we introduce Maya, through which we superimpose the causal status to the Sat. So through the Maya Upadhi. So in presence of this Maya Upadhi, this Sat, which is Nirgunam, becomes Sagunam. So Nishkaranam becomes Karanam. So Chandogya Vakya does not introduce that Sat is Karanam as such, but does not introduce Maya as such, but Vidyaranya borrows from other Upanishads and introduces Maya. Because Shveta Upanishad very clearly says Mayam tu Prakritim Vidyat, Prakriti means Karanam, Upadana Karanam, and Mayinam tu Maheshwaram. This Maheshwara or the Paramatma is one which possesses the Maya. And I was discussing from Panchadashi second chapter, from verse 47 to 59, are crucial verses for this Maya. There Vidyaranya has talked about Maya. Of course, in other chapters also it is there. I think in 7th chapter there are some 100 verses regarding this. But anyway, so this is sufficient for us in chapter 2, verse 47 to 59 talks about this Maya. What is the nature of Maya? What's the relationship with Brahman, etc. or with Sat? And then Maya roughly can be defined, please understand, Maya roughly can be defined as a Shakti of Brahman. It is not a Shakti. Brahman does not have a Shakti also, but roughly we can define. Because there is a reason for that, why we call it as a Shakti. So Maya can be Shakti of Brahman from one aspect. Which is the aspect? Well, Shakti generally can be non-separate from the conscious being, that is Shaktiman. And the same way we want to say that this Maya is non-separate from Brahman, Brahmashraya. And to indicate that we give this, we tell Maya as a Shakti. So like, walking, talking, etc. are inseparable from this Shaktiman. Same way we say Maya is a Shakti of a Brahman, which is non-separate from Brahman. So it is from this standpoint, just from this standpoint of non-separation, we call Maya as a Shakti of Brahman. We don't try to extend anything in this. Then do you mean really they differ, Maya and, from other aspects we can't call it as a Shakti? No, we can't call. Why? We can't call Shakti? No, we can't call Shakti of Brahman. Why? Because generally Shakti and Shaktiman are of the same order of reality. Like walking power of me and this Shaktiman, the conscious being, are of the same reality. In this conscious being, the Shaktiman who is possessing the Shakti called walking, talking, etc., they are both of the same order of reality. And therefore, same way Maya is a Shakti of Brahman, Brahman Shaktiman, Maya Shakti, both have a same degree of reality. No. That's not correct. So, generally what the person enjoys, the power and powerful person enjoy the same order of reality. So, I as a person and my talking power generally belong to the same order of reality. In case of Brahman, well, Brahman is Satyam, Maya is Mithya. And therefore, just from the standpoint of a non-separation from the Brahman, we say Maya as a Shakti, because a person and its power are non-separate. But that's all. But if you go further, then person and its power are of the same degree of reality. And therefore Maya and Brahman also has the same degree of reality. No. That's not correct. And therefore from other aspects, we can't call it as a Shakti, just for one purpose only. So then you want to say Maya is a Mithya? Yeah, Maya is a Mithya. How can you say that? Well, we will elaborate it further. So that is how from verse 48 onwards it has been indicated that. So Mithya means it does not come under the category of Sat, and it cannot come under the category of Asat. That's what we want to say. Because the definition of Mithya is Sat, Asat, Vilakshanam Mithya. And therefore, just a minute. Sat, Asat, Vilakshanam Mithya. And from that standpoint, we are saying this. So, Mithya means basically it's a borrowed existence. So it has not independent existence. So when you say Maya has a borrowed existence, means what? Maya you are saying as a Mithya. Yeah. So Maya has borrowed existence. Yeah. From what? From Brahman. But we should think that this statement is right or wrong. This statement is right or wrong. Because when I say something has borrowed existence, so then generally borrow indicates what? Like when I say I borrowed money from you. Correct. That is, it is very understandable. When I say I borrowed money from you, it is very understandable. But borrowed existence is a really peculiar thing. Really peculiar thing. Because immediately question arises, who borrows existence? Like I borrow money, means Swami borrowed money from you. That's very clear. Who borrowed money? Swami borrowed money. Okay. Then who borrowed existence? Who borrowed existence? Maya borrowed existence. Wait a minute. The one who borrows existence from Brahman, is it existent or non-existent? Right? Like I borrow money from you, then Swami is existent, right? So Swami borrows money from me. That's very simple to understand. But when I say Maya borrows existence from Brahman, that Maya is existent or non-existent? What will we say? So that's a problem. And therefore, now the real problem will start. So, if I say, well, existent Maya borrows existence from Brahman, why should it borrow? It need not borrow. It need not borrow. No. Then non-existent Maya has borrowed existence from me. Non-existent thing, how can it borrow? Because borrowing itself is an action. And any action presupposes something. The karta, the one who acts, well, it must be there or not. Therefore, Maya, if for borrowing existence from Brahman, well, Maya has to be there before. And then if Maya has to be there, then Maya is already existing. Then why should borrow existence? Then if non-existent Maya, how can it borrow? If non-existent thing, how can it does any action? Why borrow? Any action. How non-existent thing can do? Could you follow? So this is the problem. So basically, non-existent thing cannot borrow. So, and therefore existent thing need not borrow. Two things are there. A non-existent thing cannot borrow existence from Brahman. Existent Maya need not borrow from existence from Brahman. And therefore, whatever borrows existence must be distinct from Sat and Asat. Sat means existent. If Maya is existent already, it need not borrow. Okay. Therefore, Maya is Sad Vilakshana. Right? We have to say that. And the Maya is non-existent, then it cannot borrow. And therefore, Maya cannot be Asat also. So, Asat Vilakshana. And therefore, Maya is Sat, Asat, Vilakshanam. That is how it is. So, Maya does not fall into category of neither Sat. Sat means existent. Then it need not borrow. If it is Asat, non-existent cannot do borrowal. And therefore, it must be distinct from Asat. It must be distinct from Sat also. And therefore, Maya is Sad Asat Vilakshanam. Mithya. That's how we call it as a Mithya. And therefore, here generally the power and the powerful person has the same order of reality. We cannot say here Brahman is Satyam, Maya is Mithya. Brahman is Sat and Maya is Sat Asat Vilakshana. Right? Brahman is Sat and Maya is Sad Asat Vilakshana. So, Vidyaranya wants to establish that this Brahma Shakti, Maya has to be Sad Asat Vilakshanam, enjoying existence borrowed from Brahman. This is going to be the discussion. In that, verse 48 says, we have already seen 47. 48 says, Na sad vastuhu satah shaktihi nahi vannehe swashaktita sad vilakshanayam tu shaktihe kim tattvam uchyatam. So, it says here like this. Vidyaranya establishes first, the Maya is Sad Vilakshana in this verse 48. Then in verse 49, he is going to establish Maya is Asat Vilakshanam also. And that is how Maya is Sad Asat Vilakshanam and therefore Mithya, etc. This is the line of discussion here. So anyway, here he is saying Maya is Sad Vilakshanam. And he says Brahma Shakti is different from Brahman. Definitely. Brahman, that is Sat. This Shakti, Maya, is Vilakshanam from Sat. So how will you prove that Brahma Shakti is different from Brahman? Well, we say because Shakti is possessed by the Brahman, right? Shakti, when we say, then we say Shakti is possessed by Brahman. And possessor has to be distinct from the possessed. That's for sure. If I am not able to understand this, then I am possessed. Definitely. If possessor has to be different from the possessed. Anyway, so I am possessor of a talking power. I am not talking power. How will you distinct? No need of physical distinction. Please understand. There is no need of physically distinction. But these two are different things. How will you say it is different? Possessor of Shakti is different from possessed. How will you say? Even the Shakti is not there. The so-called possessor remains. Like I stop talking. I go? No, I don't go. I am there right now. In fact, if I lose my speaking power permanently, still I will remain. Therefore, definitely, even though the Shakti looks non-separate from the Shakti is non-separate from the Shaktiman, yet Shakti and Shaktiman are two different things, not physically two different things. I will give you an example. See, like red rose or a red cloth. Now here, this cloth, the substance, and that red color, the attribute. You cannot see it distinct. You can never see. Have you ever seen a red color without substance? Please give me example. Red color independently, only red color, huh? No substance, no flower, no cloth, without any substance. Show me just red color. No. Whenever in your mind, if you try to think, some substance will be there. Either red rose, either red tumbler, or red something, red cloth or something. So, but the attribute and the substance are different things, right? But you cannot separate physically, but they are distinct things. Same way. You have to understand this way. This Maya, well, it is physically not non-separate. But basically Maya, the Shakti and the possessor, the Brahman, must be distinct. And therefore, if Brahman will be called Sat here, definitely we have started the discussion with that, then Maya is Sad Vilakshanam. Clear? Now, Maya is Sad Vilakshanam. If Brahman is Sat, possessor of the power, then possessor and possessed are two different things. So for Maya we say Sat Vilakshanam. Brahman is Sat and Maya is Sat Vilakshanam. Maya is distinct from the Brahman. So this is how, this is one point. And well, second point is, the Sat, word Brahman, of course, here it has been used in the sense of Sat. And so Shakti is different from the Sat, that is Sat Vilakshanam. That's the first point first part of definition of Maya. Sat Asat Vilakshanam. In that we have already said it is Sat Vilakshanam. So that is what Vidyananda Swami says here. Sadvastuhu Sataha Shaktihi Nabhavati. Sadvastuhu. Sat means that Brahman is not identical with Maya Shakti. Brahman and Maya are two separate principles. Understand? Not two separate physically distinct entities. Brahman and Maya are two separate principles. So, and like I and my talking power are two separate principles. Not physically you cannot separate. My talking power and me you cannot separate. But still there are two distinct principles in as much as even talking power goes permanently, the person exists. That way. They are very proximate. Maya is non-separate from the Brahman, but still Maya is a distinct principle. So, I gave you example of substance and property. Substance is not property, property is distinct from substance. Even though property is non-separate from the substance, but still property is a distinct principle compared to the substance. Anyway, so this is how the nature of Maya is Sad Vilakshanam. And Vidyananda Swami gives an example. Nahi vannehe swashaktita. Vannehe swashaktita. Just as fire and its burning power are not identical. We only say fire has burning power. We never say fire is burning power. That's all it means. Fire has burning power. Like I have talking power, I am talking power is not correct. Otherwise, talking power goes, person also goes. That never happens. So, and then question is Sad Vilakshanatayam tu. Okay, Maya is Sad Vilakshanam. Then Shakti Tattvam Kim. Then what is the category of this Shakti or Maya now? Tell. Now you already tell it is Sad Vilakshanam. We agree that Maya Shakti is Sad Vilakshanam. That is okay, different from this existence principle. Then what is the category of Maya Shakti? If Maya is distinct from Sat existence, what is the category of Maya? Asat. Right? What is Sat Vilakshanam? What is Sat Vilakshanam is what? Asat. And therefore, just a minute. Somebody. So if Maya is Sat Vilakshanam, then the immediate answer comes to our mind is Asat. So Maya is Asat. Then now he says Maya is not even Asat. Asat Vilakshanam also. Could you follow what I am saying? In verse 48 he proved that Maya is Sat Vilakshanam. In verse 49 he is going to prove that Maya is Asat Vilakshanam also. Anyway, so a person suggests this answer: if Maya is Sat Vilakshanam, then it will be Asat. And but Asat cannot borrow existence, right? We have already seen that way. But Maya borrows existence. Asat means non-existent. Non-existence cannot borrow existence. And therefore, Asat Vilakshanam, we have seen that, but Vidyaranya gives a very typical answer. He is giving a very typical answer. I will try to explain you. See, what he says is, in verse 49, it says like this: Shunyatvam iti chet shunyam, Maya karyam iti ritam, na shunyam napi satra yadruk, tadruk tattvam iha ishyatam. What it says is very vilakshan. His answer also is vilakshan like Maya. He is like, now Maya is Asat. Sat Vilakshanam means Maya is Asat. For that he is using the word Shunyam, naturally. Asat means non-existence. So he says Shunyam. So Shunyatvam iti chet. Shunyatvam iti chet. If you say then Maya is Shunyam, iti chet means if you say that Maya is Shunyam, then we say no. Two reasons. For that, two reasons. What do you mean by Shunyam? First thing, what do you mean by Shunyam? Well, if conventional meaning of a Shunyam is non-existence, you can't say Maya is Shunyam, because non-existent Maya, Shunyam Maya, cannot borrow anything. Non-existent thing cannot borrow. To borrow it must be non-Shunyam. And then if it is non-Shunyam means it is existent, and therefore then if it is existent, then why should it borrow? Therefore it can borrow any other thing, but it need not borrow existence. Okay, that's the one. Second answer, he is based on, of course his answer is based on verse 34. So I will have to go to verse 34, but I will, instead of going, I will tell you in general. There somehow that Purvapakshi says, the Sat and Shunyam can exist. What you say, Sat, can be our Shunyam or not. Suppose a Buddhist say like that. We say it is not true because the Sat is existence and Shunyam means non-existence. They cannot remain together. Well, opposite nature. People are quite late. Anyway, so Shunyam and Sat cannot exist. Shunya means Asat, right? Asat and Sat cannot exist together. Same order of reality. Please understand this. I am not going to verse 34, but I am giving you what has been told in verse 34 in brief. Sat and Asat cannot exist together. That's for sure. That is how we are saying that like Jnanam and Ajnanam, right? Brahman is what? Jnanam. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahman. And Ajnanam. We always talk about Ajnanam. So Jnanam and Ajnanam cannot exist together. That's what they say. In fact, Vishishtadvaitis, one of the argument against Vedanta is this. They call Saptavida Anupapattihi. They say these Vedantins talk about things, out of that 7 things does not make sense. And that is how be away from this Vedantin. One of the thing is, they say basically one is ignorant of Brahman. Brahman is Jnana Swarupa and ignorance means Ajnanam. How can Ajnanam and Jnanam remain together? That is the first thing because you go to a Vedantin and tell this. When they say one is ignorant of oneself and one is self-confused and therefore this and that, and you say how come Jnanam Brahma and Ajnanam remain together. And he will not be able to answer and you come out. That's all. So Saptavidha Anupapatti. 7 types of Anupapatti means unreasonability. Upapatti means reasoning. Anupapatti means 7 types of unreasonability in Vedanta. Then this is the first thing. Vidya and avidya cannot remain together. Jnanam and ajnanam cannot remain together, being opposite nature. I have diverted you from Shunyam. Understand? Sat and Shunyam, I have come down to this. It cannot remain. But suppose avidya is of a different order of reality. Then can it exist with jnanam or not? We will have to think, he says. Let me ask to my, Acharya, and I will come back to you. And I will ask to my Jier or what they call Jier. Yeah, Jier. I will ask to my Jier, their Acharya, and I will come back to you. And he comes back. He said, I don't understand. I said, it is your experience. You did not have gone to your Jier. Opposite things can remain together if they are not of the same order of reality. I said it's your daily experience. You sleep in the night, it is 3 o'clock and it is dark room. You have switched off all the lights. And in a dream you are seeing a daylight. Right? You see a daylight in a dream. And outside, here in the room where you are sleeping, there it is dark. So how come this darkness and light to remain together? I am asking him, how can this remain together? Oh, that is of a dream. That's a dream daylight. Yeah, dream light. And this is a waking night. Waking night and dream light can remain together, even though they are of opposite nature. Generally, light and darkness cannot remain together, but in this way they can remain together. Same way. Okay? Same way our jnanam and ajnanam remain together. Ajnanam is kalpitam. Maya kalpitam. So Maya kalpitam ajnanam, or Maya itself is ajnanam, let's say, which is a mithya, can remain in this jnanam brahma. Nothing to worry. And therefore, if you are saying the shunyam and sat can remain together or not, we say no. If shunyam and sat both are satyam, both are of the same order of reality, they cannot remain. Because sat means existence and shunyam means non-existence. Like light and darkness of the same order of reality cannot remain together, same way sat and shunyam cannot remain together. If you say that shunyam is of a different order of a reality, then he says, okay, shunyam is suppose maya kalpitam, maya karyam, then can it remain with Brahman or not? We say no problem. No problem. In fact, we give you blessing if you say so. It's our blessing. So shunyam is maya karyam, then definitely it can exist with Brahman. No problem. Different order of a reality. Maya itself is a mithya. If it can remain with the Brahman, then Maya Karyam, why not it can remain with the Brahman? It can remain. There is no problem at all. And therefore, that was the argument in verse 34. I am not going there because there are so many verses connected to it, but this is just a gist of it. So, here it is says, Shunyatvam iti chet shunyam, Maya Karyam iti iritam. So, he is referring to that. Iti iritam. Iti iritam means it is been told earlier. What? Shunyam Maya Karyam iti iritam. This Shunyam is Maya Karyam. Well, then we don't mind if it can remain. But here, now what is your argument in this point? Shunyatvam, Maya is Shunyam, Asat. Shunyam means Asat. If Maya is Shunyam, and earlier you said Maya, this Shunyam is Maya Karyam, then right now you are saying Maya is Shunyam, earlier you said Shunyam is Maya Karyam. Well, we are sorry. you think Maya and Maya Karyam both are Shunyam, not possible. How not possible? If you say so, then we will have to say the Rama is a Karyam born of Dasharatha. Then Dasharatha is equal to Rama. What are you talking? What are you talking? Right? Maya and Maya Karyam are not one. Karyam means which is born of. So Maya, if Maya Karyam is Shunyam, you have already said, then basically now Maya itself you are talking as a Shunyam. But Swamiji, Maya Shunyam from where you have brought? Shunyam means that Asat. Now we are in a process of proving, we have already proved Maya is Sad Vilakshanam. Now we are in a process of proving Maya is Asat Vilakshanam also. Why do you prove? Why do you want to prove, Swamiji? Because Maya is Mithya. Definition of Maya, Mithya we have given already. Sat, Asat, Vilakshanam. Distinct from Sat, distinct from Asat. In verse 48 we have already proved Maya is Sat Vilakshanam. Maya is distinct from Sat Brahman. Okay. Now we are in a process of proving Maya is Asat Vilakshanam. And Asat means non-existent, that is Shunya. So Maya is Asat Vilakshanam we have to prove. Then definitely Maya, we have to prove Maya is not Shunya, right? Maya is not Shunya. Asat Vilakshanam means distinct from Asat, distinct from Shunya. Means Maya is not Shunya. So Maya is not Shunyam we have to prove. Then we are going back to verse 34. Because this person, this Purvapaksha has already accepted Maya is, Shunyam is Maya Karyam. Basically, you can understand very well. Let me tell you, let me divert a little bit. What happens is, non-existence also is a concept, honestly. There is nothing called absolute non-existence. Like Brahman is absolute existence. And then there is another entity called absolute non-existence. Try to see. Please show me a non-existence absolute. You cannot. The non-existence always is in your concept. It's just in your concept. Whenever you say non-existence, I will ask you a non-existence of what? Am I right or wrong? Non-existence, pure non-existence, you cannot prove. Pure non-existence. Try to prove. Like pure existence, Sat. Same way, pure non-existence, absolute non-existence, you cannot prove. That is how we say this non-existence. There is nothing. We always say this is a really a contradictory statement. Non-existence is, right? What we say, non-existence is. Now how it is possible? Please tell me. Non-existence is. Is means what? Existent. So non-existent is existent. Kya baat hai? It indicates non-existence is not an absolute thing. Shunyam is not an absolute thing. Shunyam also isn't just a concept. And concept exists. Concept exists. And therefore we will say basically Shunyam is Maya Karyam. Shunyam is Maya Karyam. And he accepts it. And therefore basically, and if it is Maya Karyam, definitely it can exist with the Sat. But here our argument is Shunyam is Maya. If it is Shunyam is a Maya Karyam, then Maya and Shunyam are not one thing. Why? Because Maya and Maya Karyam must be different. What is born of Maya and Maya are different. The parent and the child are different. Otherwise, Rama and Dasharatha become same. Rama is born of Dasharatha. Rama is a Dasharatha Karyam. Right? Then Dasharatha and Rama are not one thing. It cannot be one. Therefore, if you have already accepted this Maya Karyam, Shunyam is a Maya Karyam, Maya cannot be the Shunyam. And therefore it is, you cannot say Maya is Shunyam, right? And therefore Maya is Asat Vilakshanam also. This is just, I told you, it is very typical argument Vidyaranya Swami is doing. Very simple argument we can do is, and even Vidyaranya just wants to, because he's a Shunyavadi. He's arguing against Shunyavadi, that's how he has to tell like this. Simple thing is, if universe is existent, then its cause, definitely not the Sat as such. We call it as a Maya. Maya also must be existent. If Maya is existent, therefore Maya is Sat. No, Maya cannot be the Sat. That Sat, Maya is Sat Vilakshana, we already proved. Therefore, and Maya cannot be Asat because the effect, the property of the guna of a Karanam will be there in the effect. Karana gunaha karya anuvartante. So universe has full of existence, then Maya also cannot be the Shunya. Right? And therefore Maya must be Asat Vilakshanam also. We have also proved Maya is Sat Vilakshanam, because if Maya is Asat, Shunyam, then what comes out must be Shunyam. Everything Shunyam, non-existent. Well, that is not there. You will find everything existent. With for every Nama Rupa you are using, for every name and form, you are saying Sat, 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 is. And therefore, basically starting from space is from everything. And therefore, basically its material cause, Maya also must have an existence. And therefore, Maya cannot be Shunyam. So Maya is Asat Vilakshanam, and already we have proved Maya is Sat Vilakshanam also. And therefore, Maya, well, definitely it is Sad Asat Vilakshanam. This is how we say, and that is what Vidyaranya says. Na Shunyam napi Sat Yadrik, na Shunyam na Sat. It is not Shunyam, it is not Asat, it is not Sat, and therefore Maya is Sad Asat Vilakshanam. Yadrik. Yadrik means whatever be the category. Yeah. Whatever be the category of, because person is aware of two categories only. One is Sat, one is Asat. He immediately it is like a pendulum. If I say if this substance is a substance is not Sat, what is the category? He says Asat, non-existent. So the in between category nobody understands. So Bhashyakara, Vidyaranya says Yadruk, whatever be the category of the Maya, well, it is na Shunyam, means not Sat, and na Sat also. So it is not Sat, it is not Asat. So Sad Asat Vilakshanam. And we have invented a new word for it. We call it as a Mithya. Swamiji, but what is this? Everything what you experience is belong to this category. Everything. Starting from dream. Start from the dream. Sad Asat Vilakshan. Well, if dream is Sat, let's say now this. We want to prove Sat Vilakshan, right? Okay. So, dream is Sat. Then in dream you have definitely borrowed money, or you have given money to somebody. Well, if in dream you have given some money to somebody, when you wake up, you will not go to the person and ask for the money. So definitely dream is Sat Vilakshanam. Then, if dream is Sat Vilakshanam, it is Asat. No, you cannot say. Because in dream you have given money, sometimes you get pleasure also in dream, sometimes you get pain also in dream. People just wake up from the dream, screaming also. Therefore, definitely it is not Shunyam. The dream is not something Shunyam. And therefore, people are experiencing dream, pleasure, pain, everything, and therefore, there is something called dream. And therefore, dream is Asat Vilakshanam also. Dream is Sat Vilakshanam, dream is Asat Vilakshanam. And therefore, dream is Mithya. Everything. You know this very well. Satchetna Badhyeta, Asatchetna Pratiyeta. Satchet. If it is Sat, na Badhyeta. It cannot be negated. But it is negated. Dream is negated. So therefore it is not Sat. Asatchetna Pratiyeta. If it is Asat, you will not have any experience of it. No. But we have experience also. So it is not Asat also. If it is not Sat, it is not Asat. Sad Asat Vilakshana. Could you follow? This is how we say. And it is true with rope snake also. It is true with any erroneous idea. Any. So it cannot go, Sat means it will not go away. It goes away. then well, it is not asat also, because I experience also, and therefore sadasat vilakshanam. And according to Vedanta, everything is like this, mithya. Whatever we experience in life, in this creation, belongs to this category, comes under this category. And that is the difference between Vedanti and Vishishtadvaiti. Advaiti and Vishishtadvaiti has this big difference, and that is, well, for him everything is Satyam. Everything is Satyam. They say dream world is equally true as of the waking world. Rope snake is equally true as of a real snake. Rope snake is as real as the snake. So for him everything is real. And well, unreal is, for them, the unreal is non-existent. There are two categories for them. Everything is real, including dream world, rope snake, all so-called erroneous notion also they say it is true. Even they consider shell silver, not real silver. Shell silver is as true as the silver in the shop. They have their own theory of proving it. And well, we say, but there is something called unreal. Okay, unreal means non-existent. That's all. We say dream is a different type of a reality. It is not non-existent, it is not existent totally, it is not Sat, it is not Asat. No, they say dream world is as true as this waking world. He says, when you dream, is it true or false? We say it is true at a dream time, when we dream. That's enough, he says. So this world is also as true as this time. Like that. Anyway, we negate it by so many arguments, so that is not a problem. But what I am saying is, they are not able to understand. There is some different category altogether, which is Sat, Asat, Vilakshana. For them, there are only two categories, Sat and Asat. Existent, non-existent. Dream exists or not? Exists. It's real. That's all. Put in Sat category. Could you follow what I am saying? So, Dvaitin, Vishishtadvaitin, all philosophers have only two categories. Existent, non-existent. Rope snake exists or not? No, it doesn't exist. Then why is fearful? Oh, it exists. So that's how we are saying. It is Sat. It is Sat. It is Sat. That's all. Could you follow what I am saying? So this is a big difference between us and this Vishishtadvaitin and other Dvaitin. Dvaitin definitely will have, they consider everything Satya. Anyway, so but definitely whole creation, we cannot call it as a non-existent, we cannot call it as existent, and the cause of the creation, that is Maya, also is of the same category, because whatever be the nature of Maya will be the nature of the creation. Karana gunaha karyam vartante, and therefore basically and there the Vishishtadvaitin, get irritated also. When we say this creation is mithya, they get irritated, because the problem is, if it is unreal, if it is mithya, then how can you transact with it? Because for them, there is no mithya category. So when we say mithya, immediately they understand it as a non-existent. For them, there is no category called mithya. So whenever we say unreal or mithya or asat, immediately they think that it is non-existent. Then they say, how are you able to transact? You are eating food in presence of me and you are saying everything is mithya. So what is it? Could you follow? But this is a separate category. It is not Sat, it is not Asat, it is not existent, self-existent, and it is not non-existent. It is seemingly existent. That's all. Seemingly existent. Looks there are two things but has a one being. Pot and clay looks two things but has a one being. The existence of the pot is the existence of clay. And yet with pot I can transact. I can fill up water, I can drink water, everything. Could you follow? It's a different thing. Pot cannot be called non-existent. Pot cannot be called self-existent. Pot is simple to understand. pot is well, which has borrowed existence. And borrowed existence means like this: the being of the pot is the being of the clay. That's how it is. So a pot is sadasat vilakshana. Saying everything in our understanding, everything is sadasat vilakshanam. Maya also is sadasat vilakshanam, and it is the cause of the entire creation. Then therefore creation also is sadasat vilakshanam. Creation is also, we cannot call sat, we cannot call asat, we cannot call self-existent, we cannot call non-existent, and therefore it is creation also is like this. So from tomorrow I will start regarding now creation. Now we have understood this cause very well, and so whatever has come out from in our chart, we have a chart. Whatever has come out, the entire creation also is sadasat vilakshanam, called mithya. So Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mithya. This is how we understand it. I don't think we should go further in the Panchadashi, because it is endless, because verse is up to verse 57, and so it will be another topic otherwise. So anyway, so creation, etc. I will start from tomorrow. I will give you today some meditation, and then from tomorrow we'll start creation. What is Jnanam? Is Satyam as well. The content of any given thing is Satyam. Like gold of the ornament, like the water of the wave, the cotton of the cloth, the shirt, the shirt is asatyam, anrutam. The cotton is sat. The content, the real. Now Jnanam. Take it in the limited sense. Knowledge to know a given thing, Jnanam. I know a tree. Now I know a pot. Now I know the moon. Now I know the sun. Now I know my room. Now I know this body. The tree known. The pot known. The moon, known. The sun, known. The room, known. The body, known. Tree knowledge. Pot knowledge. Moon knowledge. Sun knowledge. Room knowledge. Body knowledge. Knowledge plus the tree. Knowledge plus the moon. Knowledge plus the sun. Knowledge plus the room. Knowledge plus the body. What is plus is different. What is the same. Same knowledge. Knowledge, 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 knowledge. Knowledge is the same of tree, of pot, of anything. There is no tree knowledge without knowledge. The tree exists in knowledge. Therefore, I am knowledge, jnanam, essentially, not the knower. I am knowledge. Knowledge. Jnanam. Jnanam. All the time. Knowledge. With reference to a known thing, I become the knower. The knower is knowledge. The known also is knowledge. I am knowledge. Jnanam. See the truth of this. Knowledge of the tree. Turn the attention to knowledge. Knowledge of the tree. Awareness of the tree. Consciousness of the tree. Knowledge is consciousness. Consciousness of the tree, the pot, the moon, the body. In between the consciousness of the tree, the consciousness of the pot, The consciousness is. The consciousness is. Between the objects of knowledge, tree, pot, moon, sun, room, body. Between all of them, consciousness is. In all of them, consciousness is. All gone, consciousness is. I am consciousness. I am consciousness. Consciousness, which is not divided at all, remains the same. Consciousness undivided, whole. Consciousness whole. I consciousness whole. See the meaning. I consciousness whole. Repeat the word consciousness. See how it is. It is whole. Consciousness. Whole. Consciousness. Mentally repeat and see how consciousness is whole. Now, don't repeat consciousness. You are consciousness. 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 I whole. Consciousness. Consciousness. Om. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.